big statue. It's a warrior actually riding on a horse, and he's actually called Li Zicheng, who was a peasant uprising leader during the end of the Ming Dynasty. And after that peasant uprising, the Ming Dynasty ended and the Qing Dynasty came. So this is the statue of Li Zicheng heading to Beijing. And before Li Zicheng got to Beijing, the last emperor of Ming Dynasty just figured out that he could not leave if the peasant came to the capital.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Now first welcome to our factory. Over here, I will tell you something about jade engraving. Okay, now let's see this one. This is the local jade. It's from the Tianshou Mountains of Ming. It's ice jade. Ice.
So the emperor hung himself in a park next to the Forbidden City.
Horses, ice jade, translucent. And of course in China it's a good meaning. That means success. But we see this special, but it's another different jade here. Bushan jade. It's from Yunnan province of China, riches. So in China the cabbage means richness, it's money. So some people is passing the businessman put the cabbage in room, which the money come in. Of course it's feng shui, Chinese feng shui, good fortune, lucky. So if you believe you can try, but we must pay attention to the way of putting, attention to the direction. You know the root of cabbage, facing inside your house, inside, and kill the leaves outside. The money from your house. Don't like this. Your money will fly out. The best quality, king of jade, jade, Burma jade. Because this jade is your hardest. It's your hardest, so it's best quality. The harder, the better. So if you want to know this jade is real or not, it's very easy. Just scratch the jade on the glass. Like diamond. The real jade that can cut glass. More colors, more valuable. But of all the colors, the green color is the best color. When I see this special globe here, it's also jade. The different countries, there are different jade. So there are about 30 kinds of different jade on it. But especially over here, the Russia is the best quality. King of jade, jade art. Because it's the biggest country, not special meaning. China is yellow jade. Over here, this material called Mongolia, golden star stone, a type of jade. But we see Japan, Canada, and England, they are not jade, it's mother pearl, shell. And the US, turquoise. Second part is, the raw material is very big, like a rock, so we cut them into smaller pieces. Third part is drawing the picture on the stone. We know the jade is hard, so it's very difficult to carve. So before the carving, they must make a shape on the stone. The fourth part is carving. Last step is polishing. So we can tell over here, these jade statues, they are unpolished, so not shining, not smooth, need polish. Government shop in Beijing, government. So everything is very quality. First, let's see the best quality, super quality. After you look around, okay, this was this.
That man is painting inside that crystal ball. Every side of the Ming tomb was carefully chosen, which took feng shui into account. Like not even nowadays, many Chinese people still believe in feng shui. Whenever they want to buy a house or they want to buy some new furniture, they gotta arrange their furniture in their rooms into a good feng shui. So feng shui actually means the heavenly wind and earthly water. So every Ming tomb is built between a hill and a stream. Beijing had been a capital city for 5 dynasties, but we can only find 13 Ming tombs in modern Beijing because the Qing emperors were all buried in Hebei province after they died, and the Ming emperors were buried in Beijing because they were all Han Chinese. Han Chinese is the majority of Chinese population. 13 Ming emperors were buried in the Ming tombs area, although there were 16 emperors in the Ming dynasty. Charlie Brown, standing in front of the Ming tomb. Alright, let's go in. Every Ming tomb got a circular wall called Pressure City Wall, or 保城 Wall in Chinese. Pressure City Wall, or 保城 Wall in Chinese. The statue of the Emperor Zhu Di seems he's a big guy. There's a statue here because Zhu Di made a lot of achievements during his reign. Whenever the descendants came, they would sacrifice some animals in the hall of eminent favor to pay respect to their ancestors. Zhu Di was the 3rd Ming emperor, and he moved the capital city from Nanjing to Beijing. He had the Forbidden City built in 1420. He also had the Temple of Heaven built in 1420. Of course, he had his own tomb built. Only the emperor could have a building built on the 3 terraces. This is actually the base of this building with the marble carving. We're going to climb up the Pressure City Wall, get to the Seoul Tower. The Seoul Tower is actually the symbolic building of the Ming tomb. Every Ming tomb has a Seoul Tower. You know, there are some old trees around. Some trees are over 500 years old. You know, those 5 little stone things are called 5 sacrifices. 5 sacrifices. So when the descendants came here, they would also sacrifice something here. This is the Pressure City Wall, goes all the way around the tomb. This is actually the tomb. The name Cheng Zuwen was the name given after he died, and his real name is called Zhu Di, and another name called Yongle, and that's the name of his the period of his reign. On the top of the hill there was a big pagoda, and I should say this is a kind of Chinese gardening. It's called the comparison of scenery. Because you can imagine if there was not a pagoda on the top of the hill, when you look from here, it looks so empty. So they built something on the top of the mountain to compare the scenery around.
A special kind of traditional enamel wire known as rule of Jingtai. So Jingtai just the real title of the Ming Emperor. Because it flourished at Jingtai period with animal faith. Usually to make the cross-laid wire, we need seven steps. The first step is body making. Body making. The material used for making the body is copper. Because the copper is very soft and flexible to metal. It's very easily to be hammered and stretched. The drop of the body will not go curiously. It won't break because we use the copper of the body. It's better than the porcelain. Porcelain either to coat it with the yes. So from here you can we have original designs. At first we copy the design into the copper body, copy the body, put into the designs. You can see the narrow copper strings. You can see the narrow copper strings will be curved into different shapes and different patterns. Then we use the tweezers and vegetable glue, special kind of medicine in China, to build the little compartments and capture my copper whites. There you get the natural minerals from powder. We have to be lots of patience. Yeah, because you can see there are so many patterns and the colors, so many colors on the surface. The colors of powder on the surface are very easy to mix. Yeah, if you happen to touch it.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yes. In order to fashion the colors of powder in little compartments, so we have to put it into the oven to fry it. After we fry it, the powder will be bonded in little compartments.
Those are also class A.妈也不要了，还要去西安呢。我们还要去西安呢。This is the Class A section. Oh, the blue. Colors later. We are at the Jiyongguan Pass, Great Wall of China. And this is the wall. Big section of the wall actually goes all the way around. In China we have the saying, if you haven't climbed up the wall, you are not real heroes. You know, the lovers will buy locks and lock the locks here on the chain and they threw the keys. That means their love will stay forever. But sometimes you can see people looking for keys. This section of the wall was actually built in the Ming Dynasty, since that was a time when the largest scale of the construction started. And this is the hardest part of this section. The period of warring states, different dukedoms built different sections of the wall to protect themselves. to protect themselves from each other and also from the barbarians. In 221 BC, the Great Wall was built by an emperor who is called Emperor Qin Shi Huang. And Emperor Qin Shi Huang was actually considered the first emperor in Chinese history because he unified the whole country and established the first feudal system of society in 221 BC. And after he unified the whole country, he had different sections of the wall linked together.
A little break here.
Yeah. We still have a long way to go, huh?
Yeah.
You can have a free cup of coffee at the Starbucks at the top of the wall if you can reach there. The watchtower. There are many watchtowers built along the Great Wall since in ancient China. In ancient time, it was not easy for people to relay information, especially military informations. And in the mountains, they had to build watchtowers along the wall to relay information. Because when the enemy invaded, the soldiers who saw the enemy would burn some branch of trees on the watchtower, and the soldiers in the next watchtower would know that the enemy were coming, and then they would burn some trees too to make smoke signal. But the military information would travel along the Great Wall, and all the soldiers would be ready for the wall. So that was the ancient way of communication in the mountains. In Xi'an, there were some terracotta warriors, the stone warriors, and that is actually the Emperor Qin Shi Huang's tomb, because he was buried there, and he had many stone warriors carved or casted during his reign to stay with him after he died.
We gotta go to the top.
You gotta go to the top?
Yeah, man. Not that much further.
Many men were forced to build the Great Wall, especially in the Qin dynasty during the Emperor Qin Shi Huang's reign, the first emperor during the feudal system of society. And after his reign, the Great Wall was continued to be built in different dynasties, but the largest scale of construction started in the Ming dynasty about 500 years ago. So the walls we see today were mostly built in the Ming dynasty. So the starting point of the Great Wall actually goes to the ocean, to the east of China, and the end of the wall goes to a small desert in the west, to the west of the country. So it covers a total length of about 5,000 kilometers, about 3,000 miles. And people nowadays believe the Great Wall is one of the man-made structures that the American astronauts can see from the moon with their naked eyes.
Long Island, New York.
Providence, Rhode Island.
Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah.
That's what you do with the Great Wall. What do you mean?
That's what I used to do. Like, exchange cards. I mean, where are you?
It's making friends on the top of the Great Wall, exchanging cards.
Think, man. You gotta think.
Yeah.
Great Wall, you're gonna be exchanging some cards.
I told me there was a lift. I said, okay, let's go to the Great Wall. I want to take the tram. Tram, there ain't no tram around here. These are 20,000 steps, for God's sake. Look at this. Oh, my God. You young whippersnapper. Where are we supposed to go tomorrow? You know, I don't know. I think I want to check it out. I want to set scouts before I go anywhere with you anymore. I love it. This is a wonderful experience. Bunch of steps on a big hill.
That is the Great Wall.
反正我们基本上。